Two stories this evening seem to have come together. The first is Carol Vorderman appearing on the Dan Wootton show, or with Dan Wootton anyway. And, she's not appearing. It was Edwina Currie who was appearing and criticising Carol Vorderman, and Dan Wootton calling her a lefty. Well, she's not. She was great friends with David Cameron, as they pointed out. And maybe this is buyer's remorse. Maybe this is that she has come to the same conclusion that I have, that these people who are in our present government have crossed the threshold from being wrong about ideas to actually being morally repugnant, to being bad people. And that changes everything. That means it's not about questioning the policies, because the policies aren't important, as we know, from moment to moment, because the policies are constantly changing. What is important is the people who are delivering those policies, and because they are so maniacally wrong and so desperate for only one thing, to cling on to power. And it's summed up, I think, rather beautifully, if one could put it that way, by the activities or inactivity of Nadine Dorries, who is probably the most shameful Klingon that this present government has managed to produce, and she's not even in power. So there's that on the one hand. And on the other hand, there's the picture of Rishi Sunak trying to pull a pint and being mocked for it. So Rishi Sunak trying to put petrol in his car, and it's not even his car. Rishi Sunak, these stunts to try and look like one of the lads. It's a little bit like Mrs. Thatcher's attempt to pick up litter. The litter had been sprinkled on the ground beforehand, but Mrs. Thatcher would have picked up litter. That's the difference. And she was quite dutiful about it. Whereas Rishi Sunak, it is just a stunt. I have got that word correct, haven't I? Yes. And then this throws into relief the stuff he was doing this morning on the Scottish show, the BBC Scotland, and he was asked why was he taking a private jet up to Scotland, and his response was to talk about holiday flights, was to talk about commercial airlines. It's a tantrum. He's taking a private jet to make a green energy announcement. That is a statement of rank hypocrisy. And his response is to distract le gendarme. It's a sleight of hand. It's a magician's trick, except he's not a very good magician. And that I'm afraid is the problem. It's behind the petulance is dishonesty and laziness. And those two things go hand in hand. It's the laziness and the petulance. And we might add greed. We might add greed as well, because the desperation to cling on to power, to cling on to the ministerial salary. Why? Don't these people have enough money? It's time to go. What they are doing by hanging on, and I've changed my tune entirely. I mean, I think the moment I realised that this was about the individuals, not about the policies, that's the point at which I realised they have to go. It is these individuals who are the problem, not the policies. The policies may not be great. Policies can change, opinions can change. But these people have slipped into personal error, into the moral void, just as Putin in Russia. It's not about whether his law, whether his war is justified or not. I don't think it is. It's about the fact that he has slipped into evil, as has Prigozhin. And you can see it in their actions. Their actions are habitually bad. And that, again, all you have to do is look at the definitions of evil, the ideas of virtue in Aristotle. It's habitual, it's practice. And these people have got into the practice of doing others down. They've got into the practice of evil. And yes, they are led by people like Suella Braverman, who is determined to do other people down in order to do herself up. That doesn't work, you see, that's the problem. All this is about negativity and doing people down, and we have to call them out. We have to single these individuals out and say they have slipped beyond the point where they are discussing policies. They're seizing at any political straw that they can grab to give the impression that they have an idea. They have none. Their only mission is to do harm.